Alright, so for today we're going to be doing something a bit different, and this is the first raid farm that we had on the world here. And we're going to be taking it down just because we're kind of out of redstone, and this one basically isn't doing well for the server. We're going to be making a Chronos raid farm instead as a temporary solution before we go all out for the main max raid farm here. That's mainly because we're still waiting on deco for the floor for that perimeter. So special floor art ordered with an artist, so that is taking a bit longer than expected. So we need the redstone. This farm isn't working for us that well, and it's very, very, very outdated in terms of storage, all that kind of stuff. So mainly what I want to do is get something functional that's reliable and stuff like that. So you can see I already killed all the evokers and stuff like that. That were here. We did some other things, but now we're getting ready to take all the items out and get rid of those. That way we can just bomb this all out and then basically start fresh. I was going to try to save the villagers. We don't need to move villagers 5,000 blocks again. So I keep all these guys just so we have them, and just making a more reliable farm in a sense. So don't get me wrong, this farm is really good. It's just for our current setting, it's very, very outdated and just needs to be updated. So yeah, we're fit for a shorter episode probably, but try to get it done and see what we can do. So you saw from that time lapse, we did build the full raid farm up. That was actually very quick. It took like maybe an hour max. But we did, yeah, before you saw that time lapse, we did blow up the old CCS raid farm we had here. Mainly because this one is just much more lag friendly compared to the other one. Basically, the CCS will run at about 40 ms on the server. And while the server does say 40 ms currently, that is, we have more of the things going in the background. So I added this crafting station after the fact, but very little redstone stuff here, and the glowstone. It's mainly due to because I've already taken some of that stuff over to main storage. I think we've gotten so far, I want to say about 27 shulkers of redstone blocks so far. And then some of the gunpowder has been taken out as well. We've stored about a little bit, like about 108 shulkers sticks. We really don't need those. We have so much wood, and it's nice to have I took the shulker boxes out of there, so we don't fill those up anymore. Same with sugar and spider eyes. We are getting some glass bottles just in case we need it for a honey farm at some point. And then the glowstone's always nice to have for decoration if we need be. And then obviously we have some banners. Took this stuff out of that as well. And I took the most of the totems to the main storage. And then obviously emeralds. We really don't need the emeralds now. We're going to wait to store everything at the max one we're planning to do. Obviously this is just temporary until we get our the lazy looting one we're going to do. But I'm still waiting for decoration on that, so this is why we're doing the temporary one here for now. But yeah, all in all, it's the same location. It was the same hole down to bedrock that we had from the CCS one. We didn't have to change it, very, very luckily. If we didn't need one block over, we need to add something to it, but we're good there. So yeah, same location and everything, but it's just more lag friendly. The portals for the top also still link, which is really good. We didn't need to do a whole nother lava pit and stuff like that. But yeah, so now you can see we've almost farmed 2.5 million pillagers so far. And if we do XP query on the raid bot on levels, you can see it's almost at 3,000 levels so far just from this farm alone. And yeah, it's really, really, really cool. So definitely check out the original design down in the description there. It'll most likely be a link to a Discord channel where, because I don't think there is a video. But yeah, so very, very simple farm compared to CCS. In terms of the top part up here, and it just gets the mobs out of the area a bit quicker and down to the player, which is always good for lag, of course, and the items don't stay as long, which is always better. So yeah, on to our next project, and we're going to be doing something a little bit different for this episode. Alright, so to continue this episode, we are going to be doing something a little bit different. It wasn't really planned. We're going to be doing a max render distance perimeter. So basically, what we're doing is we're doing another XP farm. This is mainly because we have no XP cooldown on the server, which is a carpet rule. And we're doing this because our old XP farm is only meant for vanilla, where you have the XP cooldown. This one is taking advantage of you can take in so much more experience compared to that. And yeah, the reason we're doing a render distance perimeter is because of the lag that the farm does create. So doing this, make sure that literally nothing is loaded inside the render distance when you're inside the perimeter, the center of the perimeter. Now that's only for lag. You don't need to do that if you're doing a regular mob spawn in, but this is just because we want the maximum or the least amount of lag possible, because these do rack up a ton of lag for the server. As you can see here, we have a bot placing concrete powder around the walls here. That's mainly because the perimeter is a 512 by 512 perimeter compared to our standard 272 by 272. So it's basically 4 times the size as our regular ones. And yeah, that's the reason why we're doing this. And the floor itself is about 262,000 blocks compared to the 60,000 or the 65,000 of the regular perimeter. So yeah, it's quite a bit bigger, but it's definitely worth it. And we're gonna do some cool decoration here. Obviously, we're not doing random walls. We're just doing a solid color. Just because the way the decoration is currently planned, we're gonna have like the black concrete to look like obsidian, and then the floor to look like the portal frame of the portal. So it looks like you're inside the portal almost. But yeah, so this goes all the way around the perimeter. And we'll go take a look at the deco. We've currently almost done 40 shulker boxes of concrete so far, and we're just about a wall and a half. So yeah, this is the floor pattern that I came up with to kind of signify the portal. I think it does a really good job for only being 8 by 8 wide for each little swirl. But yeah, so we got quite a bit done so far. I can go on the map here and you can see just how much we got done. I think we're still not even going to hit 50% yet. I can actually check that. So we're only 37% done of 262,000 items. So we're just shy of the 100,000 concrete placed so far, which is, like I said, already over our regular perimeter size in terms of blocks. And we still have about 60% to go, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, on the map, it does look really, really cool. I think it gets the point across of it being a portal. Then obviously the walls you can't really see too much, so I think we might extend the top part of the wall here. So I'm thinking that once these walls are in, we're going to do some like black concrete some solid black concrete around the sides here to cover up the stone and all that stuff on the outside to make it look like more of a box instead, just of the solid, the single strip that we have going around for the walls. But yeah, so gotta get a lot of floor done here still, and the reason why we're not doing too much in this episode, I say too much, but this is still a massive project compared to our other ones. Doing the raid farm, and then this. It won't be. I don't know if we're gonna build the farm up. We might. If we do get to it, we get to it. But currently, the plan is to just get the floor done. But if we get the farm done, even better. So yeah, let's get back to the grind. Hopefully, we can get a time lapse in, and yeah. Alright, so we have our new piston bolt to the max XP perimeter itself, and it's just a bit different than the other one we have here for the old Pigman XP one. I don't really think obviously we don't collect the gold over there, we don't really need any of this gold color palettes. I went with a really simple design over here. Pretty much just to resemble kind of a portal with the obsidian on the top, which is just black concrete, purple concrete, and then the powder in the center. You have a little bit of a variation. But and then obviously the grind obsidian really fits this theme really well. And yeah, this takes us right to the player portal. Basically, what was here before was the old tree farms and stuff like that, the nether trees and stuff like that we had here. So the portal stopped originally right here. I just like shortened the portal over here, and then just kept the top one, and basically just retextured it. So yes, it's really messy, but instead of having to redo the whole piston bolt just to make it like 10 blocks shorter, just keeping it there, and you walk a little bit further. But I want to go to the overworld side here and see it fully done. And for some reason, sometimes the portals don't link correctly, and you kind of just got to make your way down here. But yes, this is the area for if you need to repair a lot of things quickly, or if you just want to repair something very quickly instead of waiting at the old one. Because even sometimes people leave XP here and you can almost instantly repair things. Alright, this XP farm was designed by Alu, part of the Mechanist. And yeah, so this monstrosity is pretty much the max that a player can handle with no XP cooldown, the carpet rule. And you can see we still need to do some minor modifications. For some reason the pigmen get stuck here even though they know they can pathfind over here. I don't know what that's due to, but just some minor modifications to do. But yeah, the reason why I went for the render distance perimeter for this is just because of lag. This thing, even at a full render distance perimeter, still creates about 20 ms of lag on the server, just because the sheer amount of pigmen and drops and things that, you know, all the XP and stuff. So it's really hard. You can see just how quick even my XP bar is filling up at level 626 here. So yeah. It's quite an insane farm for repair. So yeah, that's the full area here. Let's go take a look at the perimeter that's fully done. So the floor here was designed by me, and kind of just like to represent the little portal particle that you see up there. I think it did pretty decent for it only being, I think, 8 by 8 in size. Which is, of course, it's about 512, I believe I want to say, by 512, so it's a really big perimeter. And we just have really simple walls just because kind of like what represents the portal here. So we have the obsidian on the side, which is just black concrete, and then the portal in the center. So it looks like from the top, after we do some little modifications to make it a bit wider, it kind of looks like a big portal, which fits the theme of the farm here, which is something I really try to do. Unfortunately, the size of the perimeter, it's just really not feasible to do like decorative walls and things. But maybe we can do that for future perimeters. This one, not really needed. It's not really too much going on here, and we have the floor instead of the walls. So floor from the map, which I think is just better overall compared to the walls, which obviously you can't see, and you want to see a little minute detail, but yeah, so that's the whole perimeter here. We got one more thing to do, kind of like a maintenance episode today, some other things as well, like a temporary raid farm, stuff like that. But we got one more thing to do, and let's go fix that. Alright, so some of you may remember that the Shulker Farm was kind of not functional. But now, we have since fixed the Shulker Farm. The piston bolt still needs to be changed, and we can basically now extend this over, and this is connected to this portal here, which is the player portal. But yeah, so it's a little bit of a mess right now. We usually have this really stupid minecart system that I try to do to create down, or to get it down to 3x3 chunks. That didn't work. So unfortunately, we have to go back to the old schematic, which means that we're loading more area than I really would like to. But then again, it's only 18 chunks, which is not really bad at all, and 9 of the chunks are completely dug out. But yeah, we fixed the Shulker Farm, and this has been running for I want to say it is about 4 days straight now, 4 or 5 days it's been running. So I remember we have a whole minecart system that went up through this bedrock, and it went up to the portal over here, and it just didn't really work out reliably. For some reason the minecarts keep getting caught up to each other, but this system down here, I guess I've been running for a few days now and hasn't had any issues, which is really, really good. And if we go to the overworld side, we have the full system fixed. Now, the system is a bit slower than the farm, and we're only running 2 of the modules currently. And that's mainly due to the fact that we have the shulkers always drop 2 shells, so we really didn't even need to build the full farm. We only needed to do 2 layers, and now that would have made the 2 chunks possible if I was smart and remembered about that. But yeah, we didn't do that, so we have 3 extra layers if we ever need to. We could also, if we really want to, run all 3 layers and then stock up on the shells, and then stock up on the chests as well, and then later down the line could just craft up. But what I really wanted to do originally with this was to make it like a full functional shulker factory with no player, which it is functional. And yeah, now with this little simple fix, back to the original schematic by Cubic, it's been running quite some time now. So basically, what we're going to start from the beginning down here is we have a fully autonomous Azalea farm also by Cubic. So this one down here will create the Azalea trees. Kind of saw it in the background there, but so we get the Azalea leaf. We detect that with this circuit here, and once we do that, we bone meal the Azalea tree and get the logs, push them over. Then those make their way over here, then they get pushed down to a very, very, very simple TNT blast chamber. And then we take those logs, and then we transport them over here, up this water stream to the simple Autocrafters for logs into planks. This is for the chest crafter, but you can see we actually are producing more logs than the system can handle, which is something that I kind of wanted it to do. I'd rather it be over than under, which is something that, if it's under, my crafters will break just because they're not actually optimized to work without a constant flow. So yeah, these planks make their way up, and you see this is also overflowing as well. We've been running it for so long that all these double chests have filled up with planks here. And then we have this simple chest Autocrafter, which is 3 wide. I would definitely improve this. I have a very, very quick crafter that I can attach to this now, but I'm not going to change this out as of now. There's really no need, because it just runs passively in the background, and it's maybe 5 or maybe 10 ms on the server. We're I guess from 5 to 10 ms on the server, which is really, really good for about 1100 shulker boxes an hour constant, which is really, really nice. And yes, it's the Autocraft that I designed. It's a very simple one. Just gotta put the planks in, so you just do 4, then you get schedule the next one for the 5th one to put the chest in here. This is a very outdated crafter. Definitely better ones I could do. But it did work for its time being, and it's still, it's functional. It's not the best that there could be. And then, yeah, so it does need 2x input, which is why we have the chest kind of split around a little bit, or else this would have run out of items. And then, yeah, so we have the Shulker Farm itself. These guys get returned up here, and by the minecarts get picked up, put onto it with arrows, and then those shulkers shells make their way down, and then down to the crafter for the shulker boxes. You can see this is also backed up, and we have multiple chest upon chest of shells backlog, which we could kind of change it, but there's really no need to do it at this point in time. But yeah, this one a bit more of a difficult recipe because we have 4 dummy items, which means it takes much longer to craft a single item because we do need to take out those 4 dummy items. We may have hoppers underneath. We don't have a hopper minecart. If I do make a new crafter, it would use hopper minecarts to get the concrete out faster, as well as the shulker box itself. But you see the shulker box, once we get all the dummy items out, it's basically instant. But yeah, this is also a very outdated crafter, but it does serve its purpose, that's for sure. So yeah, this one is also backlogging. This is the speed of the shulker boxes. So however many shulker boxes we craft with the one crafter is how many boxes we get per hour. So this is about 1,100 shulker boxes per hour, which for us is honestly quite nice. And then yeah, those shulker boxes make their way over to here and then into the little UI I made over here for this. And it's actually been running for such a long time. We have over 100,000 shulker boxes stored up right now, and that's only half of the storage. So you can see we should be able to start, yep, a little bit of shulker boxes coming in there to the other side. Basically what we do here to split it up is we take advantage of the hopper order. So the hopper will always prioritize going down first, and then once this hopper is filled, it'll then make its way over to this side over here. But yeah, so that's the whole area. I have a UI here, turn the moss farm on, the shulker farm on, and then the crafters individually. Full factory is 100% self-sustainable due to these moss farms that get composted into bone meal, and then those feed the moss farm itself, as well as the tree farm here. So we get actually a profit of bone meal, which we don't really store. We could technically do that if we wanted to. There's really no need. We have so many income of bone meal that there's just no reason to, really. And there is one more thing we did add to that. I did also create a Shulker Box Dyer. So yeah, this one will dye 9,000 shulker boxes an hour per crafter. So we have 2 crafters here. That means we can dye about 18,000 shulker boxes an hour. This very small system here. Now the crafter itself is really small. Obviously the UI around it is a bit bigger, so it allows for more storage and stuff like that. So I think there's about 3 double chests of capacity here for the dye and shulker boxes, which is a lot. And then the crafted shulker boxes make their way up to here and then into the storage, and it has separate storage per wing. So if you want to do 2 separate colors at once, you can do that, which is very cool feature. So yeah, if we ever need to, and we don't really want to do manual dyeing, we can just throw them into here, come back, and it's very quick. I mean, it's really fast for something like this, but just the fastest the hopper can handle as well, which is 9,000 items per hour. So there's really no improving it unless you use hopper minecarts underneath instead, which then you could improve the rates. But working with hopper minecarts is always a bit more of a pain. Alright, so I do want to show the Shulker Box Crafter going off. So we have filled it completely all the way up. So we have both crafters are ready to go here. And we're going to fill them off. We're going to dye them in white. We kind of just have most of our majority of our shulker boxes just to white because it's kind of easily noticeable from a far distance. And it's not, anything too expensive to get because it can just convert from bone meal and stuff like that, which we have plenty of from majority of our farms create bone meal in some sort of way. But yeah, so we're going to these levers on, which is the on-off switch. They have individual ones too, so if you only want to run one, you can. But yeah, so let's turn these guys on. We'll go to spectator here. You can see that we craft the shulker boxes as fast as the hoppers can handle, which is 9,000 shulker boxes or items per hour, which is basically what we do here is we power this piston here, which then powers this block with the observer, and we QC power these 2 droppers, so we need to update them in some way. No block, rails, stuff like that, pistons also work, but for the one wide tileable one, we're going to be using the no blocks. Just because it's going to take up a block fully, which makes it look a little bit cleaner. It's personal preference. You can use whatever you want. But yeah, then basically that happens the same time the boxes and the die gets inputted. It doesn't matter what orientation they get input. So for this case, we don't care about which one gets updated first, but for some of them, they do need to be in a certain way. But yeah, and then we carry this signal, which also goes over to this piston, which we use as two different circuits. It also, this one goes to the reset up top here, and then this one goes down. You can see that we're getting like constant pulses here. So an observer can observe the bottom of a piston or the side of a piston extending, but it will give two pulses, very, very quick pulses, which is really cool. You can see just how quick these pistons over here are firing, and that gives us this really quick signal here for these comparators that will lock and unlock the hoppers, which also shoots out the dropper that gets crafted, or the shulker that's crafted from the dropper, and that goes into the water stream here, which then starts to fill up here. And then you get the redstone lamps there and everything like that. So we'll let this run until this basically runs it out. There's no manual auto switch because not really needed. It'll just constantly fire, and it's only a few pistons and stuff like that, so it won't be too laggy. But yeah. So that's this shulker box area. Other than that, that's pretty much everything in this shulker factory hexagon dig that we have here. And like I said, it's been running constantly for quite some time, which is really, really, really nice. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, all those sorts of things, and I'll see you in the next one.